Hi, this is Mark from Right Line Trading. I haven't done a video in a while, and I wanted to show you our performance today in the trading room. Our first trade occurred at 9:02:21 Eastern Time, and it was an aggressive short trade that went for 7 ticks. Now, optimally, on a short trade, you want the SMA 50 and the modified 15, which is our right line trend line, both to be down. You want the modified 15 to cross the SMA 50 to the downside, and for them both to be red. So this was an aggressive trade because the modified 15 was above the 50, and it hadn't turned red yet. But we were able to get 7 ticks out of the trade, first target. Just this line is simply an auto trader signal that we are working on. It is not a trade. And the second trade was really an unusual loss. A really beautiful strategy entry. In this particular case, the trade met all of our parameters. We had the SMA 50 sloping down, the right line trend line, what we also call the modified 15, had broken to the downside and really was moving down at a nice angle. We had the trade come down, and we had this nice retracement up towards the modified 15. We had a strategy signal call short. We were in 1 tick below the close of the candle, and it stopped us right out, came right back up against the trade. Now, this pivot was not here at the time. It was formed after the trade was unsuccessful. So we had a system entry and a loss. We then had an additional second winner at 9:35:53. It was a three-line break above the 50. Order flow, stochastic, and momentum were green. The SMA 50 was green, and the modified 15 was green and heading up. And this trade ran for a nice 27 ticks. We then moved into a period of market consolidation and market chop. Now, this was a system entry call on a C candle, which would have been successful, but I felt the market was just too choppy to take this trade and risk any of our profit. Same here. This was a power entry right off the 15. I felt that too much of a space had opened between the 50 and the modified 15. So I held off on calling this trade. And the trade this was actually a very nice trade. This trade ran 14 ticks, but it was not a trade that we called at the time. I felt that it was just a little bit too aggressive, and it was really looking for a more conservative entry. We had this move straight up, no tradable signal to take crude up with, and then a lot of chopping around. Finally, we had a pullback to the 50, power entry long. The 50 was sloping up. Power signal came right off the 50. I really felt that this was going to run a lot more than it did. All it gave us was a first target. Our first target, 6 ticks. That's as far as the trade went. Then we had a really, really nice momentum signal to the downside. We had a break of the market below the SMA 50. Again, a little bit aggressive because we want that SMA 50 to be short, to be red and sloping down on a short. But the structural setup looked good enough to take the risk, and the market then began to develop significant momentum to the downside. You see the three-line signal here. The candles outlined in yellow, which means order flow, stochastic, and momentum, are all red. But again, all we could eke out of this trade was a 6 tick first target hit. So in the trading room for the morning, we had 5 trades, 4 winners, 1 loser. Um, 46 ticks to the upside, and minus 10 ticks to the downside. Now, if we continue to trade on, there were no tradable signals throughout this entire period. And really, a really nice time to come back to crude is around 1:30 in the afternoon. And that's when we got, between 1:30 and 2:30, we got 3 super great signals. We got a strategy entry, SMA 50 down, modified 15 down, strategy call, perfect setup, 10 ticks. Market came back 10 to stop us out. We were in again on a strategy call, came down 9 ticks. Stopped us out on a 10 tick trailer, came back, another strategy call, down 18 ticks. So if you continue to trade throughout the day, in addition to the 4 winners we got in the room, you tacked on an additional 3. And in addition to the 46 ticks we got in the room, you would have tacked on an additional 37 ticks. So it was a really profitable day trading crude. Crude was good to us in the trading room, and would have been even better if the trading room would have stayed open throughout the day, and we could have taken these really clear-cut, perfect short signals for these 3 additional trades. So system signals for the day would have been 7 winners, 1 loser, and about 75 ticks of profit. And that includes the 10 ticks that we are subtracting out for the 1 loss. Hope everybody has a great evening.